What is going on? Welcome back to Jiu-Jitsu Outlet. I'm sitting down with a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Mr. Josh Murdock. We're chilling here at Pedigo Submission Fighting, about to get our training on. I trained earlier today, and dude, I'm really excited to talk to you and hear about like what made you want to dedicate your life to the martial arts and move out here to Mount Vernon, Illinois, and train full time. But first, before we get into that, I'm going to ask you the same question that I ask every single person to start off this podcast, which is, how has training in the martial arts helped your mental health since you started training?
Man, I'd really say that it keeps everything pretty even keeled, because it's like you have like your ups and downs in life and martial arts, really, but they're kind of controlled. And at the end of the day, it's not that winning and losing is meaningless, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like, it's so low in the totem pole of important things that if that's your biggest worry, then you're kind of doing good. So
that's a good way to put it.
It's really not that stressful when that's all that you're really worried about.
Yeah. It kind of puts everything else into perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Like, big life events really aren't that bad.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. So how have you noticed that jiu-jitsu's helped like other parts of your life, like your relationships or just anything other areas of your life?
That it's been absolutely terrible for. I've been saying this since I moved out of my parents' house, which I'm 33 now, and I moved out when I was like 19 years old. I was like almost 19, maybe still 18, but I've been married to jiu-jitsu the entire time. So that means that there's not really that room for anyone. And then every time that there is room, there's really not room.
Yeah. Well, you say that, but every time I've seen you, it seems like you're surrounded by friends here.
Huh? Yeah. Those are jiu-jitsu friends and teammates. Those become family. That's like a whole different line of relationships. It's like, me and my brother knew so many people beforehand.
Yeah.
Just like, just through regular life, and they all switched to jiu-jitsu people.
Yeah.
And basically until we got to Mount Vernon, it was not any type of family at all. It was not even to say teammates. It's just kind of saying that, they're on the same team as you. Everybody here is very family.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard to believe. It's hard to remember sometimes because it's not normal.
Yeah.
Which it should be normal, but it's not. And it's kind of awesome.
Yeah. What do you think it is about this place that kind of helps create that community, that family?
From my understanding, from other people that don't even do jiu-jitsu, like talking to some of the people at the farmhouse, Heath has just always been a very giving person, and he's come from a giving family, and his family has tried to help the community, and he helps the community. So I think, as with all gyms, you see the little bits of the head instructor kind of trickle down into the students. And so he's kind of instilled that, like, no, share what you can, like help everybody, build everybody up. Like the tide raises all ships. Right. So you affect the tide, right? Therefore, if you're the ship, you get raised yourself, right? You just make everybody better.
Yeah.
Right? If you can make everybody better, then you're going to be better.
Yeah. Like that's one of the things that I've kind of just picked up here. I've only been here now 4 times, but it's a very like welcoming environment. You know what I mean? Like I've trained at other high level gyms before, especially, like some of the really high level ones, and they're not inviting. You know what I mean? They're not welcoming. Like it's a very initiatory environment where it's like no one's going to even learn your name unless you've been around for maybe like a year. And then maybe they'll be like, "Oh, hey, who are you again?" Like, but here it's like on my first day, everyone was like, "Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you." Like wanting to know details about my life and stuff like that. And that's not common at all.
Yeah. It's
cool.
It's a really special place here. Heath kind of teaches you how to be more of a real person. Jiu-Jitsu can take that out of you, especially when you try to take it very, very seriously.
Yeah.
You take it very, very seriously, then it eats up your whole day, your whole life, but you don't get to really learn some of the true life skills. And Heath does a good job of making people remember that there is life outside of jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And you can be really good at jiu-jitsu and kind of really good at life too.
Yeah. We've talked about it on the show before, but like jiu-jitsu is kind of like training wheels for life in a way. Like it teaches you how to interact with other people, teaches you how to be disciplined, teaches you how to not like give up on stuff and be resilient. And what other lessons do you feel like kind of percolate from jiu-jitsu, or like what other things, like what would you add to what I just said?
I would say that jiu-jitsu's helped me a lot with baking.
Oh,
right?
Really?
Because it's like if you don't follow the steps, then you're going to mess it all up. But you could still have a product, right? You still could have something that is tasty and delicious, but it was not what you sought after. Right. So it's like you can make something great from a failure, or you could completely mess it up entirely and then it's trash.
Right.
And it's like that could be any jiu-jitsu move. That could just be the simple act of walking around somebody's legs.
Yeah.
Right. It seems so simple and it seems so obvious. Oh yeah, you just walk around their legs, but unless you do it in the right way at the right time, then it could potentially be the death of you.
Yeah. Or as you were talking, I was thinking about like a kneecap pass. If you don't get the underhook, it's screwed. Like you could have a great kneecap pass and suddenly they end up on your back.
Oh yeah.
Right. If you just miss that one little detail. The same thing with baking. If you miss one important ingredient, no dice.
Oh yeah, you could just
Unedible.
miss the salt and now it's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. Man, so I wanted to get into this and hearing kind of just your story. Like can you tell us a little bit about what made you and your brother want to move out here and really like dedicate yourself to jiu-jitsu and the martial arts?
Well, during COVID, CJ started paying attention to the YouTube channel for the Daisy Fresh laundromat situation, and I think it was the Rebirth of Souls video on YouTube. So when he started watching that, he kind of wanted to do the 10,000 rep challenge because Andrew Wiltsey had just finished with his arm drag challenge, which he was talking about on the internet, and that got my brother all inspired. And then he showed me that video, and that got me pretty inspired. And during COVID, we were kind of in the dumps just because we were training at our house. The whole world was kind of in a weird situation.
Yeah.
People were hating on people training. People were hating on people not training. It was all kind of crazy business. Nobody knew what was going on. And, basically if you put 3 people in a pressure cooker trying to do jiu-jitsu and you get only the same puzzle things, it's not nearly as fun. And taking the fun out of jiu-jitsu, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, for real.
And, not for nothing, we've been doing jiu-jitsu for so long that it's starting to feel like we're like the aliens trying to sleep on the floor, making the situation happen and just doing whatever we have to basically make ends meet and make sure that we're spending enough time doing jiu-jitsu that we're good at it while trying to make ends meet. And, seeing that other people were sleeping on the mats like that was just like, it was a rebirth of souls, just like the title literally fits perfectly. It's like literally a flame lit underneath our asses to just do more. And we started repping out lasso breaks to leg drags because that's what the guy at the gym that we were training at, that's what he was really good at. He was really good at lasso. So we're going to beat the lasso. And, eventually CJ wanted to come up here for his birthday, and his birthday came around. We came up here and, everybody, like you said, everyone was super welcoming, right? It's the middle of the night and, Wayne Hudson, the grappling horseman, he came out like an NPC with keys to the castle at like 3 a.m, shows up in a random taxi, not an Uber, just like a taxi, like classic
Old
style.
school.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just like, hello, welcome to Daisy Fresh.
Oh,
Here is the keys to the kingdom. Like, got us sleeping on the mats. It was
Oh,
fantastic.
that's awesome. That's
And
awesome. Were you a black belt at this time?
yeah, I was. It didn't
Okay.
feel like it, but I was.
Okay. So you'd already been training jiu-jitsu like a lot at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. What was it like stepping in here as a black belt and kind of getting into this new environment?
We started the first session was Sunday. It was in the gi, and we started with closed guard sparring, and I was on top of Josh Graham, and he armbarred me and took my back and choked me and flower swept me pretty much at will for the entire round. And I'll never forget it, because he was just a blue belt at the time, and that was just like, no, this is powerful. This is
right.
what, like, true focus and true like commitment and like just like confidence in what you're doing, and like this is what drilling and like this is what killers do. This is what we got to do. And I joked with CJ, and me and him were kind of going back and forth with it. We're just like, we came up children, even though we were both in our 30s at the time, and we left as men.
Yeah.
Because it was like, really, we got our asses kicked.
Yeah. Man, that's powerful. So tell us about that moment when you and CJ decided, like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move here, go all in.
It was like basically having some business trouble at the gym that we were basically running at. And it's just like, what better excuse to move up here?
Yeah.
And then just like bing, bang, boom. Living in the car, living in the gym.
Yeah.
It was like we had come up here once a month trying to make like basically like a 3-day voyage. And then they started doing the camps where there were 3-day camps. We'd go to the camps wherever they were at. And I think it might have taken from August of 2020, the first trip, maybe 12 trips. And then we were up here in November of 2021.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. So there was a little period there where you kind of were still just making the voyage, coming up and stuff like that.
Yeah, they'd show us something. Heath would show us something. Dro would show us something. Spatch would show us something.
Yeah.
Like Andrew would show us something, and then we just go back and just drill it until we could see him again.
Yeah,
that was like our whole life was, all right, whatever they just showed us, that's what we're doing until we see him again.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. That's what I've been doing the last couple of weeks.
That's the way to do it, man.
Dude, that's awesome, man. So what's changed for you since then? Like, tell us a little bit about like what's happened since you moved here and like what have been the results of that? I see you competing a lot. You know, I see CJ competing a lot.
It's been pretty amazing. The amount of comfortability at like the dealing with high level competition and dealing with pressure and just dealing with, dealing with how to travel, how to get to places, like how to deal with all of it has been, it's been a learning process, but at the end of the day, it really just gets easier and easier each time.
Yeah.
Maybe the opponents don't get easier, right? They become more skilled, and maybe the losses happen quicker, but everything is just like, it's all just, what is the matchup?
Yeah, right.
Right. And it's literally just a work in progress. I would say before I got here, it was a matter of who showed up. Was it me, or was it like a worse version of me, or was it like the unconfident version of me?
Yeah.
Right. Now it's just like, just go out there, do whatever you can, and then now we have something to come back on. Yeah. And that's been like it's just been so much progress because of that. It's just like vomiting jiu-jitsu out there, hoping for the best and hoping that the process is working. And so far, so good.
Yeah. Yeah, man. 100%. I'd say so. Let's say there's someone watching this and they're kind of new to jiu-jitsu. What sort of advice would you give them, kind of from your vantage point?
From looking back, if there's one thing that I would really do is the same thing that kind of happened once we started here is focus on one position and just do that position until you feel like a black belt in that position, because it doesn't matter that you're a white belt if you're a black belt in one position, because then if you're in that position, the other person is screwed. And that's what I kind of see is the biggest difference here than anywhere else. Like white to black, people are good at, let's just call it knee slicing, right? Some people are better at other things, right? But if you're amazing at the knee slice and you're forever passing the guard with the knee slice, then it doesn't matter what your belt rank is. You're good at the knee slice and the person has to defend the pass.
Yeah.
So the whole like, you have to survive and learn how to defend yourself kind of gets turned back on its head if you're just like if you're just positionally dominant the whole time.
Yeah.
You're going to force other people to make you learn how to be defensive anyway.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to just eat it.
That's a good way to think about it. If you have a nuclear weapon, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
You just still got to be okay with eating it though, because that's just a part of jiu-jitsu life.
Yeah, it is. There's always a bigger fish. Seems to be the case. Dude, so one last question and then we're going to wrap this up. Can you just tell us quickly, like, how's your mental health improved since you got here? Like, has it improved? Like, what sort of differences have you noticed in your mental state since you've been here versus before you kind of showed up here?
I've really been able to break down what is going on in my head as far as what's bringing me down and what's like, getting me off focus and things like that. And then, building tools to like get back on track with that. Apart from just like the confidence of knowing that I'm training with a bunch of savages, right? That they're also putting in ridiculous sacrifices in order to achieve their goals, which makes me feel a little bit less crazy.
Yeah, right.
In the sense that there's some normalcy in the insanity.
Yeah.
Right. There's a group of other insane people trying to do some insane stuff too. And it's like, I used to just want to be like, oh, raise the bar for the average man, but it's just like, no, I want to be extraordinary.
Right.
And in order to do that, we have to do extraordinary things. And this is a place where extraordinary things happen.
Yeah.
And so that I feel like just raises the confidence in everything.
Yeah, and not just that, but it seems like a place where there's a system around winning. There's a system around extraordinary things, basically. It's like making extraordinary things into ordinary things.
Yeah. Yeah. Heath pays attention. He breaks down what's going on and he tries to make it as simple as possible.
Man, that's beautifully said, man. All right, brother. Well, I know you got to teach some kids how to choke people, armbar them. But dude, tell us a little bit, like, where can people find you if they want to learn about more about you? And what, you got anything else going on you want to promote? Go for it.
So I'm going to be fighting Jiao Miao on the Place of Peace Invitational.
For real?
December
I didn't know
2nd.
that.
Yeah, and my brother is going to be fighting Gianni Grippo December 2nd at the Place of Peace Invitational.
Dude.
And apart from that, you can follow me at Slug Life 1.0 on Instagram, my brother at Bolo the Bomba on Instagram, and his wife, the Witchy Jujitera, on Instagram. And if you are interested in cookies, right, I sell some s'mores cookies to try to fund all the crazy travels, and you can see that at Murder Eats.
Dude, well, I'll put all the links down below. Man, they should have gotten your brother fighting Zhao's brother. Done a little like brother versus brother. You know what I'm saying? Like that would have been
really
pretty
cool.
Freaking sweet, dude.
Maybe in the future.
May the best team of brothers win.
Yeah. Johnny Grippo's got to be the stand-in Meow brother.
Yeah. He's close, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, good luck. That's freaking badass. I didn't know that. I didn't know you're fighting Jiao Miao. He's a
week
legend.
Before Worlds.
Dude, that's badass.
I've been trying to practice his stare since there when they ask in BJJ hacks, right? What do you do outside of everything? And it's just like jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right. Love it, man. Well, thank you, brother. Best of luck. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll do another one sometime.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys.